some certain realities of poverty. Like if you get a popsicle and you're really poor, you're like, I got a popsicle. That's amazing. You just like the idea that there would be more popsicles is just mind blowing. Like, how could that even be? What kind of person just opens popsicles?
Damn it. Okay, can we start like the recording?
Okay, hey, we've been recording. We started already. Sorry, man.
Oh, man.
That's all going. It's all in. Hello, listeners. Hello, dear listener. Hello, Aaron, who is listening. Hello, Michael, who is listening. Hello, Tammy, who is my mom and is listening. Welcome to the Freaking Epic Podcast, and today we are doing Totally Unobjective, where we do top blank lists. We did top 5 lists, now we're going like top 10 or top 11 or top however many we darn well please. And they are totally unobjective. We are wrong about everything. Chris, are you wrong about everything?
Mostly everything, yeah. I try to be wrong about things, actually. So
I'm recording this. I'm going to play it back to you next time you're debating with me.
Being ornery about something. Well, just don't bring up rap music, and I don't think we'll have a harsh and tense discussion about what good and bad music is. I think that's like our main beef. If we ever have a beef, I think that's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but to be fair, that is kind of the point of rapping, is to have beef. So maybe I'm just have terrible taste. I'm not.
You just take it so seriously that it goes off the album and comes out of your mouth. But anyways, the top 11 things.
11. What's your number 11? By the way, we should point out, as in the episode title, if you can't read, but if you downloaded anyway without knowing what you were downloading, hi. I guess welcome. It's good to see you. We enjoy that you're here. We're
we see them.
Yeah. What we're doing is stupidest not Florida man criminals. So these are none of these people are Florida man. Some of them are men. One of them, spoiler alert, one of them gets arrested in Florida, but he's an Ohio man, so it's fine. Just
it was actually shocking. It was shocking to try and find.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. We had talked about this joke before and how Florida man has become such a big thing, and acknowledging that. And as I'm going online looking for these terrible criminals, I'm finding quite the odd amount of Florida people.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on down there.
It's freaking weird. It's shocking. It's just a thing. Yeah. But found 22 or perhaps less if we overlap. So number 11, go.
Okay, so this is the bottom of the pile one. And again, I have so many questions, or I shouldn't say again, I have so many questions in general. So my bottom of the barrel one, the caption is "No charges for woman who threw bacon into police station." And
how is that not number 1?
It's so like random and just unnecessary that I put it on the bottom. But so a judge has dismissed charges against a Massachusetts woman who threw uncooked bacon and sausage inside a police station while saying she was there to, quote, feed the piggies, unquote. Lindsay McNamara was charged with disorderly conduct and malicious destruction of property after the incident, which was caught on video surveillance. So
destruction of property. I like that wasting bacon is destruction of property. That's kind of magic.
It should be. This is why I have so many questions. One, was it bad because she used turkey bacon and the police were just
actually?
And I don't know. These are the questions I have, Zach. These are the questions that I think we deserve to know.
So it'd be kind of rude if she fed the piggy pork. So maybe she's just being polite.
Yeah.
And piggy turkey.
That's also what's ironic. Like, everyone knows that that's the insult you call cops piggies, right? But you don't feed the piggies themselves. You don't feed piggies bacon. Like, she should have, if she was going to stick with the phrase, she should have thrown them donuts or,
I haven't read
so many questions.
Huh? I haven't read Animal Farm in a while. Like, does that book end with the pigs eating each other? Like,
So,
is this a literary reference that I'm just not getting?
yeah, and these are the questions, right? Like, why? And I'm sure there's a whole story that she, maybe she was wronged by the police or judges or something, and so she took it straight to home base. Or what I think would make the story even better is if she was not wronged by the police system at all. She just had a chip on her shoulder and she had a bag of bacon. And one day she was just driving by the police station and was like, you know what? Forget those guys. I'm going to throw bacon at them.
Yeah.
And hence the destruction of property, which I don't know how you destroy things with bacon, but
grease gets on everything. It's terrible.
She threw
for an hour.
She threw bacon on a recruiting poster or something, and they had to replace it. So, anyways,
you even recognize the guy in the wanted poster. He was all greasy. We were looking for a guy with, like, I don't know, like one of those 1950s haircuts, like all slicked back because of all the grease. We didn't even know.
And they also, in the article, was very specific that it was uncooked bacon. So it wasn't even like she wants to feed the piggies with uncooked bacon. Like she wants them to get salmonella? What? I don't understand.
It's a lot of work to cook it first. If you're not putting that much work into your insults. Like,
yeah. I almost think it'd be worse if she cooked it and threw it at them. Because then they'd be like, do I want to throw this away? Because it's good bacon. Whereas she throws it uncooked and they're like, okay,
maybe was it in the package? Because that would be a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Like, it's an insult, but it's like, well, you know what? I'll take it. I mean,
but it's also like it's more demeaning to eat it after someone threw it at you if it's cooked but you're tempted, right? So that's like the whole twist on it is like somebody hits you in the face.
If it's cooked, do you trust it? If it's uncooked, you're like, well, it's the package. That's the question is it in the package?
Yeah. See, we have so many questions. But anyways, that's my number 11. Everything I have is worse than that. Like nothing I have will top that. We should re-edit this and put it at the end. I should reorder it. Okay.
Yeah, mine are. Mine don't raise that many questions. Okay, so my number 11 is in Lancashire. It's in assume England. Basically, a couple came home from vacation and they found a burglar sleeping in their bed, which is that happens occasionally. But when they left for vacation, they quote said their house wasn't too tight. But when they came back, the burglar had done their dishes and done laundry and bought groceries for it. He robbed them. But
is this really a burglar at this point, or just kind of like an unwelcomed house sitter?
He was setting up trying a new Airbnb undercover kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess he had stolen some things. He admitted to burglary and had basically 2 years of parole and a 200 pound fine. So I don't know.
So he was, did I hear you correctly? He was trying to set up a B&B.
No. That was making that up.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I ask is I've actually heard of that. Like I didn't pick this off my list tonight, but I've heard of someone who literally broke into someone's house when they were gone and then tried to rent it out to people. And this person went as far as changing the photos to photos of himself to make it look like he owned the place. But then when they got back, he left the photos of himself in the house. So he made money by renting it out to other people. It was next level. Man, I should have put that in my mind. I didn't even think about it until just now. But anyway, sorry.
No, dude, that is amazing. Yeah, this guy, I don't think he did that. That's your lists are killing me, man. They're killing
he's an entrepreneur. My guy was an entrepreneur.
I'm gonna switch it up and go in front of you. That way, you get to be the what's the term? The cleanup hitter, the cleanup batter.
Nice. I'll take it.
So my next one is basically this employee at a bank gets a phone call, and the phone call says that hey, my accomplice is going to come into the bank soon. If you won't give him $100,000 in large bills, there would be a bloodbath. So he called to tell them they were about to rob the place.
It's good to give the bank an alert. Yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously they initiated a lockdown, and they initiated the lockdown accidentally as soon as the accomplice comes into the bank. So he gave a note saying that he's picking up the money we called about.
Hey, my friend called earlier. There's some cash you should have out for me.
Yeah, and the guy who was calling from a cell phone in the parking lot of the bank. So, needless to say, they both got arrested.
Oh my gosh! I thought it was going to be the same guy pretending to be another guy, but this is still pretty good. I dig it.
If we remade it as a made-for-TV movie, it would definitely be the same guy in different disguises
with an English accent on the phone.
An English accent on the phone and a Southern accent in real life.
Oh man,
Florida, even though he's from Florida.
Without dumb criminals, there's so much enjoyment in this, and just like obvious, like why didn't you ask yourself this question first? Sort of scenarios. And it kind of makes me wish I was a cop, because I'd love to be the guy who was just like kind of shaking my head as I was reading the Miranda rights. Like, is this even going to make sense to you, sir?
Should in the future do a nursing one, because my nurse friends have such bizarre stories. Like, there's just certain professions where you see the weirdest in people.
Yeah. All right, we'll put it on the docket. So this is 10, right? I'm on 10.
Yes.
Okay. So I got what I liked about this article, or all criminal articles, is this one provided a photo. Obviously, our listeners can't see a photo,
nice.
But I feel like for the judgmental part of my human nature, I can look at a photo of someone and be like, "That guy is an idiot." So, anyways, this guy, Shaquille McKinney, a young entrepreneur slanging weed, was cold calling potential clients one day when he was cold calling for weed when he contacted Detective Matt Parks, who promptly set up a meeting with the dealer in a local park and arrested him. So I have so many questions. What does weed dealing become when you have to act like an insurance agent or an insurance salesman? and what does that involve? Like, does he just like pick numbers out of a phone book, or he was just dialing random numbers into his phone? They had to be local, right? So he puts that zip code in there.
If you're you usually have, if you're working like insurance or whatever, any kind of phone sales, you normally have a list of people who've like signed up on a website, or like who for some reason are into this. Is he just going through like Facebook profiles, just anyone with a phone number list? He goes, that guy looks like he uses weed.
Yeah, this is why I have so many questions. Like, where is he getting this list? And obviously, he called a detective out of like all the people that one could call. He called a detective.
So you're assuming he hasn't called like thousands of people. He probably called. He's just like calling so many people that he's statistically likely to call a detective. He's hustling too much.
My thought too is like, you know how like when you get a call from someone trying to sell you, I mean, these probably don't happen nearly as much anymore, but you get a call from somebody trying to sell a newspaper or magazine. Can I have 5 minutes of your time? Yes, sure, you may have. And so they ask you general questions without actually asking you what you want at first. Like, do you like to read the paper? So what would it be for guys slanging weed? Like, do you like to be in a haze? Do you enjoy eating snacks frivolously? Do you get real thirsty? Is that something you enjoy that you would like to incur in your life? If you're answering yes to all those things, I would like to hook you up.
Watching cartoons as an adult.
Yeah. Do you not find enough enjoyment out of an action movie? Do you feel like you could take it a little bit further when you've seen it already? You know, those kind of questions. And then when that
All of
person's
your do all of your statements start with dude or bro?
do you enjoy fast food? Answer yes to any of these, and I think I can help you up. Well, please, sir, tell me more.
Purchased food at Albert Tacos on
At 1 a.m. Oh man!
Hey, did you hear that Albert Tacos they got shut down? You know how everyone was like, "How are these guys in business?" Apparently, they were money laundering.
Yeah, I saw that. I sent it to my brother. Yeah,
it was amazing. I love food, but it is they clearly works.
I think they just switched ownership. No, because I was really upset. There was a day I drove by. Albert Tacos is very dear to my heart, and there was a day that I drove by, and they had just a refrigerator sitting in the drive-through area of the park. It was like we couldn't get a cone, so we rolled out the old refrigerator to show people that they can't go through the drive-through, and I was devastated. But then the next day, I pulled up and it was open, and they had new employees. So I think it just changed ownership, but still, yeah, that's crazy.
Like they just fired all the employees and replaced them. Like, how will they know how to make terrible food?
Don't you dare! Okay.
No, so I love it. Terrible good way. Terrible good way. Taco Bell terrible. Minaj terrible.
Yeah.
Starting the rap feud again.
Oh yeah. These are the two things it's not about politics or religion with us. It's about Albert Tacos and rap music.
No, I like it. Because I have eaten there many a time.
Okay. Whew. All right. We're still friends. Okay. So number 9.
My number 9. So basically, it was in Alaska, a robbery suspect. They don't have this word suspect in quotes, but they really should. A robbery suspect. Well, first off, he gave the teller a note with his real name and birthday. Mm-hmm. So obviously, Michael Gale Nash was the guy's name. The tellers called the police, and the police showed up to investigate, and they were able to make an arrest fairly easily because Michael Gale Nash was counting the money in the parking lot. he was just sitting outside of the bank counting the money.
You got to make sure you got what the bank teller told you they were going to give you, man. You don't want them stiffing you.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So his hold-up note said, "This is a hold-up. Please put the money they want in the bag. God help us!" and 3 exclamation points.
That's so bizarre. So he was acting like he was.
The note was scribbled on the back of a form, which had his name and personal information on it. It was a form for an application for affordable housing.
Oh gosh. Oh man, I just kind of feel bad for him. Like the guy was in a spot. He just went to steal money, and then he just
sat outside the bank counting it. Like, wow, I got $400 because that's how much he got in a bank robbery is $400.
$400? Are you making that up?
I'm not making that up. That's in the store. With $400 in a bag. He was, just chilling outside with his $400 and his affordable housing. Well, his lack of affordable housing application.
Yeah, no. How long does it take somebody to count 400? Please tell me it was not 4 $100 bills.
400. Math is hard. Count
1, 2. Crap. Okay, start over. 1.
Was
2.
At least a few minutes later, according to the story, because the police don't arrive magically that minute. So he's just chilling out there.
Oh man, that's so depressing. And that's like if you're going to go to jail, prison, you want to get more than risking $400 worth. That's crazy. Oh man. Okay, so here's my number 9.
Uh-huh.
2 would-be Brazilian bank robbers, I love the phrasing would-be, were apprehended in 2016 after they tried to use head-to-toe foil suits to fool the alarms at a Santa Catarina bank. Even if that had worked, I love the writer on this, the guys probably should have focused their escape intentions on the security cameras, which picked up the robbers as they crawled through the bank and tried to break into the safe. Police were immediately called, and the two men were taken into custody.
So they were wearing tinfoil suits?
Yeah. So, yeah, they wrapped themselves completely in tinfoil, which is funny because that's also what you can do on the days that Chipotle gives you out free food for dressing like a burrito.
Maybe they thought it was a free bank.
They were like, let's hit up the bank first and then get burritos later. It's like a double whammy.
And then we can pay the extra money for guac because we'll be able to afford it.
Yeah, we'll be able to buy the crazy overpriced guac. But the funny thing is, okay, I don't know if you've ever seen that skit on SNL where they're making fun of Tom Brady saying, I'm no science computer. So I like to play on that joke. I'm no science computer, but I'm wondering what was the mind that went into them to say, you know what lasers can't detect? Foil. Out of all these years,
item in existence.
Out of all these years, we're the geniuses, right? We're the criminal masterminds who have discovered that foil is the best way to stop lasers.
No. They didn't realize that they were. I'm sorry, it's not going to work. It's not. I was trying to get away with saying that they foiled their own plans, but it just can't do it. It's too bad.
You were so close.
I've tried to wait for it to not terrible, but I just couldn't.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So what's numero?
My number 8. This one's added to the list specifically for locality because it happened in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh wow, nice.
In our hometown. I live in Denver.
Familiar.
I used to live in Colorado Springs. Been there forever. So this was a Colorado Springs thing, and it's very Colorado Springs. So a guy receives a text message for his car that he was selling on Craigslist, and the text message was pictures of marijuana saying, "I would like to trade this for your SUV." Which, to be fair, this has happened a number of times, actually. However, he was trying to trade his illegal homegrown marijuana for an SUV owned by a cop, by a sheriff. He told a policeman, "Hey, I would like to trade 4 pounds of marijuana for your car.
Can we make this trade?"
Yeah.
Oh man.
The sheriff has said, and I quote, "I won't relist the SUV on Craigslist again."
He doesn't even want to deal with it. It was probably his off day too.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to clock in and deal with this idiot.
To be fair,
my gosh.
The guy trying to buy it was from Vail, so it was like it wasn't a Colorado Springs resident doing the crime. It was a Colorado Springs resident accidentally apprehending the crime.
I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, I don't know what the street value of 4. You said pounds?
Yeah, pounds.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much, but I have no idea.
It seemed like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I don't know what like an ounce is like $20. I don't smoke weed, so I don't. But I just like. And a pound is 16 ounces, so that's what 320 times. So that's like $1,300 ish by my almost 100% certainly wrong estimation.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's more than that. I have a feeling it's way more than that.
But and also home.
I'm maybe like if I had to throw out a number, I would say maybe like $4,000. So maybe it's an old SUV or something. But why would anyone trade, like, even if you were, even if it was a stoner, somebody smoked all the time, would they just trade a value for something that?
Well, I mean, also, wouldn't it get old? Like, wouldn't it not be?
I don't know.
Sure, I don't.
We're sharing our supreme lack of knowledge, but but yeah, or you're just stuck with something that you now have to sell, right? Like, so you make the exchange, and now you're like, well, great, now I got to get rid of all this
great!
stuff.
I traded my assets for work. That's
Yeah, for more work. Yeah, it doesn't quite add up. But obviously, this guy, he wouldn't be on a dumb criminal list if he knew the risk. So
that happened. That's happened a lot of times. Like there were several different stories about people trying to buy cars with weed. Apparently, that's a somewhat common thing. It just amused me that it was a sheriff.
I bought. I don't know if I ever told you the story. I'll try to make it short and sweet. But I bought a Mitsubishi Galant from this guy about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I messaged him on Craigslist. He shows up. The night before, I could tell he was already being flaky because I was like, "Hey, I'll meet you at this gas station," and he was like, "Yeah, sure. Just call me when you wake up." And I was like, "No, meet me at this gas station at 7 a.m." And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Just text me when you wake up." I was like, "Dude," and I couldn't understand why he couldn't just meet me there. And anyways, I show up. He's of course an hour late. He shows up. The car reeks of weed. So he literally rolled out of bed, smoked in the car that he was trying to sell.
Maybe that's like new car smell for stoners.
Oh my gosh! And then I get into to drive around. I was like, "So you smoke?"
One of those like the little evergreens you put in your car. Maybe it was just a little pot leaf.
Oh my gosh! This is the thing, Zach. He was like, we get in the car, and you could tell he had just smoked it. And I was like, "So you smoke?" And he's like, "How could you tell?" It's like, dude, anyone can tell that you smoked in this car just now. It's not like he acted like I was like some sort of detective with the abilities to notice things unseen, and it was just like, no, man, you just smoked in here. And to make matters worse, like I pay for the car to get it checked out. I go home to get some breakfast. They call me, the place that I paid to get it checked out, and this stoner kid is like, "Hey, man, they're done with the car. Did you know you had to pay for this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I told you I paid for it," which I had. I told him several times.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay." I get there to pick it up. As we're walking in, he's like, "Hey, did you know you had to pay for this?" This kid was so stoned. He could not remember conversations that we had that were literally like 10 minutes apart from each other. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, I guess I can understand in that context, well, Mr. Trade 4 pounds of marijuana was not able to decipher the risk inherent to that situation. But moving on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did you buy the car?
Oh yeah. I got a great deal on it. I told him I would meet him at the bank, right? Because he was like, "Do you have the money?" And I was like, "No, man, I don't know you. I wasn't going to bring. It was like $1,800 or something." I was like, "I'm not going to bring that in cash with me." And he's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Okay." So I'm going to go to the bank. Do you have the title? No, I don't have it. It's at home. Go get the title. Meet me at this bank. Cool. I'm driving to the bank. Guess who's following me to the bank? This dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was that dumb. And so we pull up to the bank, and I'm like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He's like, "What? I thought you were going to get the cash for the car." I was like, "Yeah, I told you get the title." And he's like, "Oh, right." So he gets in the car and he drives off, and he's gone for like 15 minutes. He comes back, and the car smells of even more weed. So he literally smoked another joint in that 15 minutes that it took him to get the title and come back. Like, this dude could not give it a rest for more than like 5 minutes.
He had $1,800 of so
yeah, it was ridiculous. And then the best part, Zach, is he needed a ride home after that, right? Because I brought his car. So I go to drop him off, and as he's getting out, I was like, "Hey, man, did you leave anything in here?" And he's like, "No, I cleaned it out." I was like, "Did you leave anything in here that is green that I don't want to get pulled over with?" And he laughed. He was like, "Oh, right. No, man, we're good." He gets out of the car, starts walking, and then he comes back. He's like 10 feet away from the car. He turns around and he's like, "Actually, let me just check again really quick." Oh, man. This guy was rich. Oh, so rich. Anyways. What are we on? 7, 8? I don't even know. 8?
I think it's 8. 8, I think.
Okay. So my 8, stowaway, caption, stowaway discovered on plane bound for London after taking selfies in the cockpit.
Yeah. I didn't even know stowaways were a thing anymore. Like,
Oh,
I've never heard a stowaway. I haven't heard a stowaway on a plane story in like 30 years. And I don't think that even happens. And like, how do you, where,
yeah.
just everything? What?
So many questions, right? Okay, so the description
Like,
is
halfway, climb out while the plane was being, like, just chilling on the runway, take some selfies, and then hide again in the dog crate or something?
it says the stowaway who was trying to get to London after sneaking onto an empty plane was discovered after taking selfies in the cockpit. Airport staff noticed flashes coming from the grounded Wizz airplane as Claudiu Gabriel Costin decided to document his break-in with the worst selfies known to man. So the plane wasn't even, there was no one on it, and they probably were looking at it from the tarmac and seeing flashes in the cockpit and going, "Hey, there's someone in the plane." So and he's trying to use his this dude went the extra mile of like, "Oh, it's too dark in here, probably because the plane's not on. I should probably put flashes on."
That's
so
amazing.
I can better document my experience, because Zach, what's the point of stowing away on a plane? Is if you can't share it with anyone, right? Like, where's the fun in that? So
you'll be surprised how many people they were. I was reading an article and it said like 1 out of 10 criminals is caught because they. I don't know if this is all criminals or like a specific action. I assume it's not like all criminals in the world, but because they Facebook stream their crime.
Oh my gosh! Why?
Recognition, fame.
Yeah,
you're a social creature, and harder to get social credit than it is to get. Well, actually, I mean, they're clearly working hard for both. So
yeah. There's a bit of both in that.
7 is it's short and sweet. A man came up to U.S. troops in Afghanistan, and this was in 2012. And he walked up with a wanted poster asking for the $100 reward for himself. He's a Taliban commander trying to get a reward, $100 finder fee for capturing himself. Yes.
Is he not aware how finder's fees work? I would like to collect the fee, the payment, and be on my merry way. How can we arrange this?
The fact that he's like a Taliban commander and was like organizing attacks on U.S. and Afghan troops, and it was $100 reward. It wasn't a big reward. It wasn't like, we'll give you $1 million bounty on this guy. It was $100.
Yeah. They didn't even care about this guy. Like, he just wanted to feel special. Maybe that's what it was. He's like, "Come on, guys, really? 100? I'm a bigger threat than that, I promise you." Yeah, that's just terrible. Oh my gosh. All right. What do I have? There's so many good choices out there.
Yeah, there's so. I mean, we've already after bacon, throwing bacon at the cops.
Just a good start. You got to feed the piggies.
I almost certainly have to break this into 2 parts. Like, we'll have to like do this and then cut it off and then do another half hour.
You got to feed the piggies. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 7, I have, when an attempted robbery at a Lowe's home improvement store went awry, Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped a fence right into the Cypress Cove Nudist Resort and Spa. So Orlando Sentinel pointed out, as one of the only folks wearing clothing. Yeah, I guess it's a magazine or the newspaper. Yeah. Oh, it's Florida. Crap.
See? Florida man is impossible. Well, okay, continue on. And we'll add and one Florida man by accident. Wait, was he a woman?
Was he what?
Was the criminal a woman?
No, because it was Milton. Unless
dang.
there's a girl named Milton.
Okay, so I was excited for a loophole out of Florida man.
We tried.
Okay, so we pick up the story where our hero is jumping over into a nudist colony.
Anyways, the police stated he was easy to spot because he was one of the only people wearing clothing. So,
man,
you gotta adapt, right?
He probably looked at the police and said, "Man, it's really hard getting away." No, okay.
I get what you're saying. Oh, so good. But yeah, he could have adapted. You know, like you jump into a nudist colony, you're like, crap. I gotta blend in, and apparently he did not choose to do that.
I really wish the end of this story was that they caught him because he was the only one wearing no clothes, but still in a ski mask.
That would have been great.
Like, I'm going to blend in, but also I can't let people know my identity. That's my dream ending to that story.
Oh, man. I think you might have had a chance, too, because think of it this way. He jumps to the nudist colony, he strips off. The cops are going to have to look for him, right? And that's got to be an awkward sort of like, hey, we're not being creepers here. There was a criminal that ran in here. You know, so he could have taken that as an advantage, but he did not.
Probably a strategy.
Yeah.
Like, you just like pat up yourself, look a little bit fatter, like you just like reshape your body a little bit, and then you're like just naked and looking completely different. Like that'd be one of the easiest disguises to actually do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he was robbing a Lowe's. Obviously, he wasn't.
Oh yeah. Looking
for the big bucks or the knowledge.
Pre-planned. I mean, although honestly, Lowe's, there's like probably $10 million of merchandise in that store. It's got to be a worthwhile target. It's just, I imagine you'd have to plan. Like if you were to rob, you'd probably want to do an inside job, and you'd probably want to do like a slow leak over time. So you'd probably want to like just steal bits and pieces for 10 years and then disappear.
For anyone listening, we are not encouraging you to do this. Legally, we are telling you not to. Please don't take Zach's advice.
Yeah, I have planned a robbery at every single place I've worked, but I have never once robbed anything in my life. I've never. I think I carried a Hot Wheels car out the door of Walmart when I was like 6, but then I realized and took it back in and paid for it. So like I have not stolen anything ever. I just like the challenge of like, how much could I steal if I wanted to? And also
that actually
movies. So
that actually reminds me. The other day, I was with my girlfriend at a Walmart, and I drink those little Mio energy drink things that you throw. You know, like you squirt them in your water and it flavors them.
They're like, and so they're like Insta-Gatorades.
Yes, exactly. So, anyways. We were walking around, we were getting food for lunch or whatever, and we go to exit, and there was like a hole in the broccoli bag, and she was like, oh, do you want to replace this? I'm like, sure. So I go run to get another bag, and I came back, and I'm like, we could have just left one bag up here and then gotten the other one. And she was like, oh, I didn't want to make it look like we were stealing things. And I was like, oh, and I made a joke, like, because I'm such a criminal. And we both kind of chuckled about it. And so we ring up our stuff, and we go out into the car. And as I'm getting in the car, I'm like, there's something in my pocket. And I pull it out, and it's the Mio drink thing.
Oh, no.
And I was like laughing so hard because I was like, I literally just made a joke about being a criminal, and I literally just totally accidentally stole this stupid thing from the Walmart. I have no. She asked me like too. She's like, "Why did you put it in your pocket?" I was like, "I don't know." Like I grabbed it and I'm gonna ring this up, and I think my phone was ringing. Or I went to check my phone, so I think I made like a swap out in the pocket.
Yeah.
Just totally not even thinking about it. And then totally walked out of the store. And so I ran back in just to pay for like, please, let's not make a scene here. This is a total accident. Just give my $3 and I will be on my way.
I wonder how many people accidentally do that with chapstick. Like, how many dollars and dollars of chapsticks have been accidentally stolen?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Or just, nonsense things that you don't put a lot of thought into.
I whenever I'm like in a Walmart checkout line and pull out my chapstick, I'm like, oh God, they're going to think I'm stealing.
Yeah. That's the funny thing. Like, you have paranoia just not being a thief. And then there's people like me that totally accidentally. Oh man. So anyways, that happened. Story of my life.
So in the line of the nudist thing, this is another Colorado one. So a guy attempts to rob the most obvious place to rob, which is an e-cigarette shop of a vape store. So the video is like I've read the headline is slightly misleading because the headline is it is man attempts to rob vape store and fails when his pants fall down. He tried to run away and his pants fell off. But I watched the security video and his pants didn't fall like all the way off, which was I was really, really hoping that he was just running out of the store with no pants, because that would be amazing. His pants fell like halfway off and he pulled them up and then ran. But he tried to rob it with a handgun, but it was actually a BB gun with the orange tip removed. But you watch the video and he pulls out the gun and you push it in the cashier's face like in the movies or whatever, but the gun flies out of his hand. So he basically throws the gun forward and he's like, crap. And so he almost jumps over the counter. He starts to jump over the counter to get the gun and realizes she's already back there. And so he gets out. He gets off the counter, turns around and just runs, and his pants fall down. He pulls them up and then he jump kicks the door open. He he's a 14-year-old pretending to be Naruto, and then he's just running across the parking lot holding up his pants.
Oh my gosh. The level of embarrassment of the foiled robbery is just wow.
Yeah. He just at every point in the robbery he did
he did something terribly wrong.
I'm just gonna give the other person my gun first, and the headline. The funny part of the headline is "Man loses pants," but the funny part of the video, it doesn't mention at all in the article, is just his nonsense jump kick. It's just the middle-aged, out-of-shape white guy I have seen too many kung fu movies. You don't just push the door open. You try to jump kick it, and you don't even hit push bar. You hit underneath it. It was just amazing.
And why? Did he feel like he had to overcome the embarrassment?
No idea why he tried to jump kick. It slowed down.
Yeah, it takes longer to jump kick the door than to just run into it with your arm and shove it open. That is golden. I enjoy that. That's nearing the top of our list. All right, what do I have? What are we on? 6?
7, I think. 6 or 7, somewhere in there.
All right, so I have when police in Vancouver, Canada, asked to search Jason Pache's apartment for drugs, he was not a suspect. In fact, they were looking for someone else. That all changed when they got a look at how his name was listed on his cell phone. Jason Pache, drug dealer. So it's not even like this was someone else's phone. That's what I really like about the story. It's not even like they were just randomly checking someone else's phone and hey, who the heck's this guy? Because that would make sense, right? Maybe in the dumbest way, it would make sense. Maybe this guy's a stoner, so he's hey, I need to remember which one's my drug dealer in here, so I'm going to label that him as such. This guy was a pretentious drug dealer that he wanted recognition from himself. Zach, you were talking about recognition earlier, right? He wanted recognition from himself, like he was proud of it.
Remember the guy with the Mitsubishi? He had to remind himself what he did for a living.
I mean, it's not like I would have my own name in my phone, Chris Duran, graphic designer, just in case I forget one day. But this guy, yeah, he really kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
I just imagine the police going, "Oh, okay, well,
here's this evidence."
Yeah, there's a little bit more here to work on. So,
right.
Yeah, that's my 7.
My number, I assume number 6. I didn't number them. I just on there, so that was my bad. So it didn't take authorities in Oklahoma long to find the culprit who allegedly broke into a woman's home and stole $4,000 worth of item, including a deep fryer. All they had to do was follow the trail of grease across the street to the home of the street. He stole a deep fryer and left a trail of grease to his house.
Oh my gosh. I have a trail one as well, but that's gold, man.
Apparently the guy was the next door neighbor, the across the street neighbor said, he's a great guy. He's a great character, a family man. So it's just a little unexpected. The guy was drunk and he said, I knew it was wrong. I just needed to do it. And so the victim said, oh yeah, we'll still be friends.
Wow.
He must be a pretty good guy if he can steal $4,000 worth of your stuff and you're still friends. But he just the idea that he's just like leaving a trail of bacon grease. To his house. I like to imagine.
Man. Yeah, well, I mean, we have to tie it all together. No, that's brilliant. It's very comical, like a comic leaving, mud footprints on the way back to their location.
Yeah. There were other stories of like robbers who just like walked in a snowstorm or like after a snowstorm and just like left a trail of footprints to their house. But it was just like there's something special about a deep fryer. Like at the fact that it's not in Florida, that's the special thing, because you expect that to be a Florida thing. Actually, now that I look at it, Oklahoma thing too. It's definitely too.
Oh my gosh. So my number 6, whatever number we're on, I feel like this is going to tally up, but
6-ish.
Man attempts carjacking in prison parking lot.
Did he just get out? Just got out.
Oh yeah. Things were looking up for Frank Singleton when he was released from jail. However, when he realized that he didn't have a ride home, he walked straight into the prison parking lot and attempted to carjack a woman. He was foiled when he realized that he couldn't drive a car with a stick shift.
No.
As he was rearrested this time for felony carjacking, Singleton told police that he, quote, didn't feel like walking, unquote.
Your first thought is, well, I don't have a ride. Clearly, I need to steal not just steal someone's car, a carjacking. Like, carjackings don't happen anymore because you get caught. Like, there's LoJack, and they're just like, that's an outdated crime in the first place. You hear about people going to prison, and it's like prison is crime university. You'll learn how to do crime really well.
Yeah.
Just didn't have a ride. Like, what do you know what he was put in prison for originally?
No, it didn't say.
I like to think that he became a fake Uber driver. Like, he didn't actually work for Uber. He'd just show up and pick up people that looked like they were waiting for an Uber and just drive them to random places in the city and let them out.
Oh man, that would be good. Yeah, there's why? I feel like that's the question. It's just why, man. Like, you have freedom, and maybe there's some like psychological reason for it. Like one of those people that just doesn't know any better. But man, wow.